NHL free agent frenzy seems to be well underway. We've already got some huge signings to discuss today, including a few players staying with their original teams that were, at least as of last night, including Jake Guentzel, Sam Reinhart, and a few others. Plus, it seems like Tyler Bertuzzi's going to Chicago. We'll discuss all those details coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some huge signings to kick off NHL free agent frenzy here in Canada today, July 1st. Obviously, we know there's no tampering in the NHL, and nothing like this ever happened. So how can we have players going to teams when free agency isn't even open yet? Now, some of these are re-signing, so those ones are fine. And I suspect that those were negotiations were going late into last night and kind of got finalized overnight into the late hours here. The big one being Sam Reinhart. Apparently they did get it in last night before midnight. So Reinhart does get the 8-year deal with the Florida Panthers. He comes in at $8.625 million. What a steal based on what he did last season. I'm sure there's going to be some other players around the league that would be comparables. I'm thinking of like Travis Konecny, even to some degree Mitch Marner. Marner plays a very similar style game as Reinhart. They both play penalty kill and, obviously pretty good defensive forwards that way. So Marner's already making a lot more, but, these guys need to negotiate extensions. And this is a hometown discount. Florida insisted that he have a contract less than Barkov and Tkachuk, and they pushed, and he wanted to stay bad enough, so he took it. So, he could have definitely gotten more in the open market. A lot of the analytic projections had him making around $11 million per season. So there's definitely a fair bit of money there that Reinhart left on the table. And I know there's the no state tax. That is an advantage, but a very reputable NHL agent, Alan Walsh, he says that if players are smart, there are proper strategies in place, that it doesn't matter where they play, they can come home with the same amount of money. And obviously those strategies are, a little bit more complicated than others, but at the same time, it is an advantage, but it isn't. A lot of it is more about lifestyle. It's about the teams being successful right now. Look, there was a decade plus there where the Panthers were garbage and nobody was saying anything about a state tax advantage then. So anyways, Reinhart gets a huge contract in Florida. Their state rival, the Tampa Bay Lightning, gets a big deal done with Jake Guentzel after acquiring his rights. 7 times 9 for Guentzel, $9 million a year, 7 years. Gets a full no-move clause in the first 3 years, first 4 years, years 1 to 4. Modified no trade in the final 3, where he can block 10. I think it was 10 teams, I believe. A lot of this money is being paid in signing bonus. His salaries every year is fairly low, so a lot of signing bonus money, which makes this contract pretty close to being buyout proof as well. So obviously the big signing of Guentzel in Tampa, they still have some money left, but they still have their own stuff to do. I don't know. It still looks more likely that Stamkos is a goner, which is still shocking to hear. A few other quick players re-signing shorter deals. Sam Steele, after not getting qualified, is re-signing in Dallas at $1.2 million for 1 year. Philly's bringing back Eric Johnson, a 1-year deal under $2 million. Don't know the exact amount. It looks like it's going to be just a little bit under 2. The Oilers appear to be bringing back Connor Brown on a $1 million 1-year deal, which is good. He played a lot better towards the end of the season in the playoffs. Sam Carrick, who finished the season with Edmonton, appears headed for the New York Rangers on a 3-year deal at $1 million per season. So he'll look to be like a 4C there. We've got Carolina reportedly bringing in Eric Robinson on a 1-year deal around 900 or so thousand. And then Tyler Bertuzzi, another big one. Bertuzzi supposedly going to Chicago, leaving Toronto for $5.5 million 4 years. Now, it was believed that for Toronto, he was probably looking at I'm sure what their offer was, but I'm going to say somewhere around 4.5 range. Obviously, they got Domi under $4 million. I'm suspecting they wanted to keep Bertuzzi fairly close to that. Obviously, if they were offering around 4 and he gets 5.5, well, that's a significant difference. We know Chicago, they have lots of space, so they're kind of overpaying some veterans to come in and be extra, veteran leadership and insurance here for Bedard, right? They want to make sure that team is a little bit more competitive, and they want to make sure that their rookies are not losing any more than they have to, and that kind of things makes create the culture and the hardworking environment that they want to foster there. So obviously Bertuzzi has played for this will be his 4th original 6 team now. Obviously started with Detroit, Goes to Boston, goes to Toronto, now goes to Chicago. Will he eventually play for the Rangers and the Habs too someday? Interesting to see. But yeah, Bertuzzi's contract is definitely more, I think, what he would have got from other teams, just because it's Chicago, and that's just what they've been doing. We're hearing lots of other rumblings and don't know what's happening yet. It sounds like Vegas did not come to terms with Jonathan Marchessault, and it sounds like right now that there's a decent chance he might end up in New Jersey. They're very interested in pushing to acquire him, so we'll see. Stamkos, we've heard Vegas has been jumping into the mix because Vegas always gets the top players. They always seem to go after them and get them most of the time. But Vegas, Nashville, I heard New Jersey too, but if they get Marchessault, I don't think they can do Stamkos too. At least unless they make a big trade or something. God knows what Fitzgerald's up to. To some degree, Detroit, but I haven't heard Detroit as much. Mostly been Vegas, Nashville, been the main ones for Stamkos. You never know. Wouldn't be shocking if Tampa pulls something off and he goes back there too. So it's kind of hard to say how this is going to go. Lots of other interesting names on the market. I know Anthony Stolarz, a backup Stanley Cup winning goalie in Florida. Apparently there is interest for Florida to bring him back. And if Florida's going to try to bring him back, what would they do with Spencer Knight? So that's another scenario there. But apparently Toronto is very interested, and there was a couple others too. So Toronto, I think, would like to target Stolarz, but they don't have an easy time here. They have lots of competition. So we'll see what goes on with Stolarz. Lots of other names out there too. Like I said, it's hard to say how everything is going to play out. Jacob Slavin, also the Carolina Hurricanes, expected to sign a mega 8-year contract extension to remain with the Hurricanes today. He apparently is having a press conference, I believe I think it was noon Eastern when free agency opens. Expected to sign an 8-year deal around $51 million, which would give him an AAV of just shy of 6.5, probably like 6.43, something like that. Probably going to have a lot of trade protection in there. I suspect, probably some signing bonus money. Like they're going to cater to him because he's arguably their best player most nights. But yeah, they're also expected to lose Brett Pesce and Brady Shea now. Brady Shea has been linked to Nashville, Pesce to New Jersey. We don't know about Natchez. Like Carolina could be an extremely different team next year, and it's hard to say if they'll be taking a step back or not because we don't know what other moves they've got up their sleeve. But right now things are not looking promising. Big turnover there for sure in Carolina. So lots of other things happening here around the NHL. So let me know your thoughts on these signings. I'll be back more as the more of the news breaks. Most of these will come later in the afternoon. So let me know your thoughts on these ones, and we'll be back later with more. So stay tuned to Top Shelf Hockey. I'll keep you up to date as the news breaks. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.